And we're here for another episode of the Bandit Room. My name is Charles. I'm joined in the studio here today by Aggie and Caleb. And today we have a special guest joining us remotely, Mr. James. How are you?
Doing great. How is it going today, fellas?
Doing okay. Obviously, this week has been sort of dominated by negative headlines, the whole horrible situation in Texas. Just want to acknowledge that and say that we, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody affected by that horrific situation there. Any particular thoughts on seeing another one of these incidents?
It's so tough to even talk about it, right? I mean, it's almost like we expect this to happen every week and nothing happens after that. We're like, what are we doing to stop it? Forget stopping it, at least slowing it down. Nothing is being ever been done. They just move on. The same, one side wants to make sure the guns are not taken. The other side wants to make sure we keep talking about this or be angry about it. But the anger lasts only so many days, right? After that, everybody's forgotten about it and they move on. I mean, last week I was in New York, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was on the mainstream news
there was a
for
church,
maybe like for 2 days.
Yeah, there was a church shooting in California. I think that was also within practically the week.
2 days and it was gone. They spend more time talking about stupid Johnny Depp crap every day on news, on the news channel than what really affecting people.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know what the resolution or what can be done, or what needs to be done.
People get overwhelmed by it because there's sort of a sense that we've seen this like 100 times and we just know that nothing's going to happen about it.
Right.
That's just the way people start to think. Mm-hmm. And so that, you sort of lose your drive after, every time this happens, which has been every day this year, by the way.
Right.
There've been as many mass shootings as days of the year. But that's, like you said, that's what people immediately, one side wants to immediately make it an issue and the other side wants to table it, talk about mental health or talk about other types of things.
I mean, I saw parts of the news conference from Texas. The governor was giving news conference. Immediately, their angle on that was mental health. But I don't believe there was any proven mental issues with this guy. But that's what because they already know, both sides already know what is it they need to say and how to respond to it.
Right, yeah. There's a certain type of response.
Yeah, they already have a response like typed up.
Based on the tribe that I'm in, this is what my response is going to be. But it doesn't answer the fact as to why is this an American issue?
Right.
Why does this only happen in America? Why does this keep happening all the time?
Happening all the time. Now, here's the thing. I just saw it on that in Australia. Once they controlled who can buy guns and how they can buy guns, the gun deaths or gun violence went down by 70%.
Well, right, yeah, because they had a situation like this, 25 years ago or something, where it was a horrific shooter, killed a bunch of children, and they just collectively as a nation said, forget it, take our guns. It's not worth this issue,
Right.
So there was a whole confiscation thing of certain types of weapons. And the results speak for themselves. They have hardly any gun deaths in Australia because of that. I realize that gun confiscation isn't necessarily going to work here, but there's certainly there's something in between. Absolutely nothing and taking all guns away.
Right. I mean, you saw the guy Ted Cruz. First thing he talked about after this happened was, well, the other side is going to start talking about taking your guns.
Yep.
It's not even like within 24 hours. That's what he's worried about.
Well, after these things, gun sales go up. The value of gun companies goes up after these kinds of events. People go ahead and arm themselves preemptively after these kind of things. The overwhelming majority of Americans support some kind of legislation. Even most gun owners support some kind of rules in place or rules for the game, whether that's universal background checks or some sort of safety type thing. There's something that people can agree on. I don't understand why it always goes to a complete stalemate after these.
So, again, I'm quoting a lot of Twitter news that from today. In Texas, if you want to get an abortion, you have to, I believe, wait for 2 days or something, and then you have to come there twice, and you got to sit through anyways, there's a process you have to go through. And the lady who was doing the interview was asking, why can't you do the same thing for someone who wants to buy a gun?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of comparisons. Like, it's harder to adopt a cat than it is to buy a gun. Like, it's harder to, get a certain type of animal. It's harder to, all sorts of different...
But we do have to make sure people want to adopt a cat or.
You have to make sure. We have to check their mental health first. I mean, you gotta. I mean, it's true though. I mean, we adopted a dog one time. You have to fill out so much paperwork, and they have to talk to you and make sure that like you're gonna be a qualified person for it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's
what
just
do
to
you think
adopt.
was
That's
going to
because we
happen?
care more about dogs than we do about.
Oh God, yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's it's so tough, right? I don't know if any of these politicians are going to act unless if something happened close to home for them.
Well, I mean, it's very interesting because so much happens in Texas,
right.
And I mean, you look, it's becoming more of a purple state, you know, especially as these large companies are relocating there. And
but I'm not wishing this on anyone, but just for the sake of conversation here, Ted Cruz jumps up immediately as soon as this happened, want to make sure the other side don't spin the story. That is the number one focus, because otherwise the donations you get from the gun lobby is going to probably dry up. So he's worried about that. What if something like this happened for him, like close to his family or his relatives? If something like that happened to, would he change his tune?
My personal opinion, I don't think he would.
I don't think he would.
I mean, because
Trump called his wife ugly. He's like, oh yeah, where do you want me to kiss you, man?
Exactly. He's already been through this, you know. Whenever something happens like this, he fully commits to the side that he's on. So
that's tough.
Other topics in the news.
Yeah. So again, the headline is "How to Murder Your Husband: Writer Convicted of Murdering Husband." Nancy Brophy, a 71-year-old romance novelist, was accused of shooting her husband, convicted of shooting her husband.
So this was a blog that she wrote, or was this an actual?
Yeah, no, so it's a blog.
She murdered her husband to collect insurance money and whatnot. Apparently, they were having some money trouble, from what I read. They saw security footage of her car driving to his place of work and then driving away from there on the day of the murder. And that's how they... But apparently, they never found the gun.
Well, so she owned the same gun as...
But the barrel was different.
Yeah, but she changed out the barrel that she had...
But she wrote a book in that.
Did she explain how she did it?
Yeah, she had this blog post from, I think it's like 10 years ago now, that was How to Murder Your Husband, and outlined ways that this could happen,
right.
And why it would happen and all these things.
What do you think she was thinking? You think she was thinking, like, I'll just write a book about this, and then, nobody will think I actually did it?
Yeah, I mean, ostensibly the blog was like, I'm a novelist and I have written novels about these sorts of things. So I'm always thinking about how people could murder each other. And obviously this was way before this murder actually happened, but...
Yeah, the jury came back in 2 hours or something.
Really?
Or 2 days or
so
2
like for sure.
Yeah.
If you're a trucker and you own a truck that weighs 55,000 pounds or more, we're here to let you know that it's time to file your Form 2290 again. Thankfully, Express Truck Tax is here to make e-filing easy with a free VIN checker, a scan for common errors, and 100% US-based customer support. Plus, if you file your 2022-23 Form 2290 before June 30th with Express Truck Tax, you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win Denny's gift cards, Blue Parrot headsets, and even a Garmin Truck GPS. So go to expresstrucktax.com now to file your 2022-23 Form 2290.
Well, while you're looking for that, it's back to that time of the year when everyone on sports TV starts hyping about the Cleveland Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year.
That's what everybody's saying. That's what everybody's saying. You can't get away from it.
That's the time of the year.
And here we are with James Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Our guest today, Mr. James Coger. How would you describe your fan level? Your aficionado,
your fanboy
level for the NFL. And
do
the
you
Cleveland
have a
Browns.
tattoo of Browns on you?
No, I don't have any tattoos because I'm unattractive and I wouldn't like for people to pay more attention to my body. but I do wear a hat or a coat or some type of a fanboy attire just about every time I leave the house.
Were you in that stadium, the old stadium, when you guys were tearing it up?
Oh, on the last game?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go to the last game. I was pretty miffed at the whole scene. I'd been a Browns fan, my whole life, and they were taking our team away. So no, I didn't go down there. I guess if I'd have been there, I would have been one of the guys tearing out bleachers and stuff like that.
Right,
but
so what is this?
It was January 6th. It was
moved to where they go, Baltimore. They moved the stadium to the team.
The Browns of my youth are the Baltimore Ravens of today.
Okay.
So, are you a believer, with, like the rest of the sports talk radio, that Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know about Super Bowl, but they ought to be drastically improved.
Why is that? You guys said the same thing last year. What is different this year?
They've got a nice core. They've got a nice group of young players. We have a quarterback who may or may not be eligible to play this year. I don't know how that's going to go, but
so are you guys back to Baker Mayfield then?
all indications are is he's going to be the starting quarterback on opening day against the Browns.
Oh, I see what he's saying. You believe that he's coming to the Panthers. I don't think he's going to be a good fit for Panthers, though. The first game is Panthers at home versus Brown.
You going to try to go?
Yeah, I intend to try and go, yeah.
So you think when you come to the first game, do you have some kind of a ritual that you follow to make sure that the Browns don't go to the Super Bowl again?
Well, I can tell you everything I've ever tried has never worked. So, yeah, if I might have to talk to a Patriots fan and find out what's the proper way to go about the superstitious stuff, because I'm no good at it.
You need to have a safety pin in your pocket to deflate balls.
There we go.
That's the secret thing.
So James, from what I know, he's been to a draft.
Oh, you've been to
tell
an
us,
NFL
tell
draft?
us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to Dallas 2018, and then they held it in Cleveland 2 years ago. So I've been to two of them, and it's a traveling road show. I will say the NFL puts on a heck of a good little traveling circus. It was fun.
So what's it like attending something like that in person?
Typically, you've got such a competitive thing going on when you go to an NFL football game. I went to 4 different NFL stadiums last year. And, I've been to games all over the country, and there's always somebody somewhere that wants to give you a hard time when you show up wearing opponent's gear, like they're belligerent, or actually, sometimes they'll get physical. But you go to the NFL draft and there is none of that. It is all just people wearing their team's gear and laughing and talking and having fun. It really is a great atmosphere. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. You have to be a football nerd to do that, but.
Okay.
Right. So you'll have to follow like the college games thoroughly throughout the year.
So you have to be both.
To know the names, who's getting drafted and who they are and what they play and where they played and all that stuff.
Yeah, I usually do a lot of homework at that time of year, trying to anticipate who's going to be drafted where. And, it's always been easy as a Browns fan. We draft in the top 10 almost every year. So.
Hey, we're right there with you.
My players was never very hard.
Yeah.
So do you bet on any of these draft picks? Like who's
No, I've never bet on a draft pick. No, but I have certainly screamed and yelled when they made the pick that I didn't like. I've seen that many times.
So do you think with the top picks Browns get for the last 10 years, they should have been a much powerful team?
Absolutely.
Have so many high draft picks.
Yeah, they continuously pick one bust after another. One guy that just isn't going to work out and never does.
Can you think of some examples of some of these, what you would call them, botched picks? That one pick that you had in mind versus what they did?
I mean, the perfect example was Brandon Weeden was 26 years old when the Browns drafted him in the first round out of Oklahoma State. He had played professional baseball out of high school and hurt his arm playing baseball, but he could still throw a football. So he went to college at Oklahoma State and became a quarterback. And the Browns decided to spend their first round draft pick on a 26-year-old washed up baseball player.
Right.
That's interesting. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it would go that way. If you were too injured for baseball, I wouldn't think football. If you were too injured for football,
it doesn't seem
maybe
like
you could do something in baseball, but I don't know.
It's the wrong direction, right?
Yeah.
So that was an example that really irked me.
So how do you convey your disappointment to the powers to be at Browns?
Oh, well, being a season ticket holder, I suppose the way I get back at them is I wait till the last day before I pay my bill. I withhold my money till the very last second. I have no recourse.
Do you write letters to them?
No, I don't write letters, but you know what? Being a season ticket holder, from time to time, I get phone calls from the ticket agents or whatever their titles are. Mm-hmm. And they will ask me questions like, did you like, the draft this year, or what did you think about the season? And I always tell them, I'm like, if you really want to know, I'll tell you. But if this is just a question you have to ask because it's fulfilling a requirement for you, I'll just say it was all fine. She goes, no, I want to know. And so I always tell them, I don't know if they're recording it or not, but
I'm 99% sure they're not recording it.
Yeah, probably not. So she's just rolling her eyes and going, "Oh my God, would he please shut up?"
No, she's probably on Tinder when she's listening to you. And you bitching about it.
Probably. She's saying anybody with football on their screen, she takes them off.
Now, you had mentioned that you'd traveled around, been to a lot of different stadiums. Is there one in mind that you would say was the least accommodating to you as an opposing team versus somebody who was the most accommodating or very happy to deal with other
Several years ago, I went up to Detroit to a game, the Browns and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And the Browns and the Lions, while they're not rivals, Ohio State and Michigan are. So, of course, not only did I wear Browns gear, I had to wear Ohio State gear. And so you always end up with the back and forth with the Michigan people that way. So that was, I don't want to say they were bad people, but, I put the shirt on and wore it. I mean, I suppose I got what I was looking for. It wasn't physical, but it was verbal.
Not any fights, but okay, just verbal things here and there.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to have a winning season? Is that what the hopes are?
Yeah, I would. They play 17 games,
right?
So you only need to win 9 to have a winning season. I would take the over on 9.
Take the over on 9. All right. So you think you're going to do better than 500?
I don't know. I think they'll have a good season.
So I know you said you've been a lifelong Browns fan. Have you ever reached a point where it's like, okay, I'm done? and start.
What would it take? What would it take for the Browns to lose your loyalty?
Well, I mean, they moved
0 wins for.
But they gone through that too.
Multiple years.
Did you guys have like a full season where you didn't win a single game?
Yeah, we won. We won 1 game in 2 years.
How many? Would it have to?
When was that?
It was horrible.
I think 4 years ago. Right? 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So how many years would it take of 0 wins for you to lose faith in your team?
I don't know. I don't have that many years left now. I guess I'm just a lifer. I don't know what it would take. I will say every year it gets frustrating and I'm like, I'm going to pay less attention next year. But the next thing I know, I'm right back down there at the stadium.
That's because
to get tickets to go.
So we are a Panthers fan, right? Nobody talks about it. No sports media, radio talk about it. Nobody ever mentions anything to do with Panthers. In a way, that's fine. We never have to build our hopes high up there.
I mean, for a team that was went to the Super Bowl
in my lifetime,
in recent memory,
recent memory,
just the past decade.
You and me were there for the NFC
the
championship game against what a game that was. That was fantastic.
Some of the best playing they've ever done in the past decade.
Luke Kuechly was right in front of us when he intercepted him at Russell Wilson and ran it back. Oh my God, that was awesome. I still remember it.
People may not talk a lot about the Panthers, but I will tell you, I've been to a lot of games, a lot of Panthers games with you, and I think Panthers fans are pretty good fans.
Right? Yeah, we do. I mean, they're so good. Last time I took James to a game for my birthday weekend, he decided to rest his beer on a lady who was sitting in front of him on her shoulder. And she just said, okay, no problem.
That's cool.
Well, see, I went to a Panthers game last year because we have season tickets here at Span for Panthers games. So
which game did you go to?
I went to the Vikings and Panthers game in October. And my family, I'm not much of a football fan, but we are from Minnesota, and so Vikings are our team. And so I showed up with under a jacket, a Vikings T-shirt, and all the people around me were. And I think didn't they reach out to you after this game and
who are these? Sits in front of
who are these Vikings
urologist? He was not happy that he's not happy when I give tickets to anyone who's
going to
not
support
the other team. Yeah. Yes. Who did you go? Was it you and Stephanie? Right?
Yeah.
Did she have Panther gear?
No, they didn't have anything. I think it was last minute for them, and they weren't. But yeah, so then made it worse because the Vikings won in overtime.
Right.
Ooh.
I mean, it's great for us because it marched out of the stadium in this like sea of purple down this, and everybody's
Right.
chanting like
Right.
"Go Vikings." It was great. but nobody. I mean, nobody got mad.
Yeah.
No, I've been
Panthers
I've
fans
been
or-
going to the season ticket from 2015, so we've been going to a lot of games. The only time I've seen fights are Eagles fans are in there. Anytime I've seen them, there's always fights. In fact, I called the security on one of the Eagles fan who was drunk and being obnoxious and trying to pick fight with everyone. I don't know why. I don't know. I thought Philadelphia was a city of what is this?
It's the city of brotherly love.
Brotherly
but
love, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's more the vibe of what's going on up there.
By the way, I love that show.
It's a fantastic show. The
show.
one time I was in Philadelphia, it was like right after an Eagles game, and it was like nighttime, and folks were getting a little rowdy. It was pretty wild.
No, that was been the worst experience of opposite teams' fans. And I've been to 2 games. They went both the time. It was horrible. Anyways,
Well, if anyone cares to defend the Eagles, you're welcome on the show. Yeah, follow-up topic. Another area of interest for you, James. Classic films, is that right? You're a bit of a cinephile?
Yeah. I'm a movie fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the old ones. I like some of the new ones, but I made a point in my mid-20s to like mid-30s to make sure I saw all the great films, all the great directors. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of your favorites? If you want
Favorite directors, Hitchcock's my favorite. I like John Huston, John Ford, Howard Hawks, Elia Kazan. Yeah, I like some of the and modern ones. I really think Martin Scorsese is top notch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, guys like him, and yeah.
So I am also. I'm in my mid-20s right now, and I've been making a point of watching a lot of classic films. So I've been going through and watching some of these films that I've never gotten to. So I have a hot take for you, which is I think Hitchcock is a little overrated. So I'd like to hear. I know we're just kind of crapping on all the things you love today, but I want to hear. I'm just curious to hear more about why you like Hitchcock. I mean, I don't know parts of why people like him. I was curious to hear elaborate on that.
First, I just want to acknowledge that that's the first time that statement's ever been said anywhere in the world at any time. that Hitchcock is overrated. That's what do I like about him? I think I thought he built the suspense. He learned over time how to get you to the point where you can't take anymore. And then he gives you just a little bit more, and then you get your ending. And sometimes it may take a while. Vertigo was a long movie, and it's just they call him the master of suspense, and I think that is the perfect nickname for him. And I think had he been from a little bit later time, he would have made some what my mom would have called some pretty dirty movies. But yeah, he was kind of handcuffed in his time. But yeah, like North by Northwest, for instance. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
Eva Marie Saint, the woman traveling alone, Cary Grant following her all around. It just, I don't know. I'm just a big Hitchcock fan.
So, Kayla, what you're saying is he's overrated because why?
Okay, so I think hearing you say that, I might dislike him for some of the same reasons that you like him. So here's my thing. I recognize he's very important for suspense films, thriller films, establishing a lot of the cinematic sort of language in terms of editing and sound and camera angles and things. Those are all very important, and I recognize that, right? So like he's extremely important in film history. What I think I dislike is, so I've seen Vertigo, I've seen North by Northwest, I've seen Psycho, I've seen sort of the big Rear Window, some of the big hits, right?
Yeah.
Most of those films end very, very, very abruptly with very little resolution or nuance to how the story is told. So I feel like sometimes they're flawed films. Even though they're very good, they are still flawed films. And so he's overrated in the sense that everybody seems to think he can do no wrong anymore. And I feel like, there's some problems in his movies. Maybe we should talk about that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you're right. Most of his films, when they're done, they end.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of stops. Right. Rear Window, Jimmy Stewart, falls down, and you show him with the cast on both legs now, or the other leg.
Right.
And, North by Northwest, the train goes in the tunnel and the credits roll, it's
right.
Stuff like that. He just ends them. And you're correct on that. I think he was more worried about getting you there.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. They do end abruptly.
It's sort of like, for me, everybody loves Chick-fil-A, and to say anything bad about Chick-fil-A is to be sort of blasphemous. But
I can say bad things about
yeah,
Chick-fil-A.
but I mean,
I have
the
had bad
food's good.
experiences every time I've been there. So.
The food's good for fast food, but
Right?
like
Yeah.
it's just fast food. Like you know,
So James, so since you're so into those old movies, did you ever think about getting into the movie industry?
I never thought about making movies.
No, acting.
No. I never thought about acting, but I always did want to. The days of movie critics are over, but I fancied myself an amateur movie critic in my younger days. I thought that was neat. I love to give my review on a film. I did that a lot. I will tell you though, if you haven't seen a whole lot of Hitchcock movies, you should go back and watch some of the older ones, like Shadow of a Doubt.
okay,
Incredible. Strangers on a Train.
that one's on my list. I have been.
Is it? And the 39 Steps.
Yeah, also. Yeah.
Tremendous.
Basically, he's telling you go watch some more movies before you make.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the big hits, but yeah, I'll see the really big hits. But also,
those all came after these other ones. These other ones were the building blocks which got him there. I mean, they couldn't all be Psycho.
right,
Right. Psycho's tremendous.
So here's the idea on that. Like some people have book club and whatnot, and then come back and sit and talk about. I can't read a book, so what if we pick a movie that you can watch within a time, and then come and critique about it? We can have Mr. James, our in-house film critic, join us and
let's
try to defend his idols.
Oh yeah,
What did we forget?
other movies, current movies. Aggie's very into flying and aviation and things, so we've been talking about the new Top Gun Maverick movie that's coming out this week.
I lived with a guy at Akron U in the 80s. He ended up retiring from the Air Force, Colonel Estep. Yes, and he was a pilot. He was in ROTC and getting ready to go off and become a pilot when Top Gun came out. So we had Top Gun on at our house. And that thing played at our house continuously. So I've seen Top Gun many times. I would be interested to watch the new one. I think would be neat. I didn't think the original was all that great, but.
So we are planning to have an outing probably next week to go watch at the IMAX.
Maybe this can be our first movie club movie.
But Caleb is going to watch it this weekend.
I am, but
Well, you gotta get a head start.
He's
gonna have his notes ready for the next.
He's going in for first day, first show.
yeah. Well,
But they're projecting it might gross $100 million the first week.
It's going to be huge.
and it's getting great reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know about. Are you a believer in reviews? Somebody else watching the movie and telling you what they think?
I find to a certain extent, and maybe I let it influence me too much, but typically, most of the time, the Rotten Tomatoes, for instance, if it's
I think it's a pretty good aggregator.
it's like 60% out of 100. It's 6 out of 10. It's it's an okay movie.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I feel like the number at least is where I would rate it in terms of numbers.
They've done a pretty good job too of doing what they have a critic's score and then an audience score.
Right.
So on that one, so you have the critical perspective and then just do people like watching this? So
Yeah.
there really are two different factors because I mean I don't know if Top Gun's going to win an Oscar or not, but it still could very well be a great movie to watch.
Does Tom Cruise have an Oscar?
No, he does not.
Okay.
He was nominated for an acting role in an Oliver Stone film where he played a kid who went off to Vietnam and got shot in the back and came home and had to be in a wheelchair. Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, that one. Gotcha. Cool. Any big films coming out soon that you have you're excited about? Focused on the.
I mean, the one that's in the news is the Top Gun film.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. My wife's wanting me to take her to see Downton Abbey.
Nice.
I may end up seeing that before I see Top Gun.
You should be ashamed of yourself. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I haven't gone yet. Yeah. Do you read reviews before you go to see a film?
Sometimes depends on the movie. If I don't really care too much about the plot, no. But if I want to see it and not have any spoilers, then I won't.
You can read the reviews for 40-Year-Old Virgin before you go see that.
Right. Yeah.
Talking about that, have you guys seen the movie called Sideways?
Sideways, I love Sideways.
That was a fantastic movie.
Paul Giamatti.
I just happened
Thomas
to be
Hayden Church.
that's when I had my knee surgery, and I was spending a lot of time hanging out in the movie theaters in Florida. And I just happened to wander into that movie, not even knowing what it was. I think I went into the wrong movie room, and I was in crutches, and ended up watching. I was like, "Wow, that was an awesome movie."
Did it change your opinion on Pinot Noir and Merlot?
I don't know.
Apparently, that's a real thing.
Don't give me any Merlot.
It's the sideways effect, is what they call it. Is that sales of Merlot like dropped off after that movie came out.
Really?
Pinot Noir
cut in
shot
half.
up.
Yeah, literally.
Pinot Noir is like the best wine.
Oh wow! No, that was a great movie.
That was an excellent movie. Paul Giamatti is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the sales of the wine dropping off. That's what happened It happened one night when Clark Gable took his shirt off to go to bed and didn't have on a T-shirt. And T-shirt sales plummeted. It took 25 years for T-shirt sales to get back.
See, that's what the flight schools are preparing for. Because right after Top Gun, there's going to be so many kids who want to become pilots, so they are like getting ready for it.
Yeah, all the Batman schools are getting ready for Batman.
Well, it's been a pleasure, James. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me in, guys.
Thanks again for tuning in to everybody out there who's listening. If you had any thoughts on today's show, any takes on the NFL or movie suggestions,
How the
let us
Browns are
know.
going to Super Bowl.
Or if you think the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, let us know. Or if you want to stick up for the Eagles and explain that they're actually a really nice fan base, let us know about that. But once again, thanks for tuning in. See you. Check us out next week on the Bandit Room.
The Bandit Room is a production of Span Enterprises, located in sunny Rock Hill, South Carolina. We've been developing, supporting, and growing successful IRS e-filing and business management solutions since 2010. Go to spanenterprises.com now to learn more. The views and opinions expressed in the Bandit Room are those of the guests, and do not necessarily reflect or state the opinions of Span Enterprises. No information should be considered as tax, legal, or other professional advice.